Hey all, welcome back. My name is Nina Means, Director for Austin Community College Fashion Incubator. We are here for the very last session of our technical design series. And I wanted to remind you that we are launching a workforce training technical design course this summer. So if you're curious about this becoming your job, because you've seen all the many ways that you can work in this particular field, from this series, we want to invite you to sign up for the technical design workshop, the technical design course that is for this summer. It is geared towards workforce. And so we want to help skill you up to be prepared to take on a job as a technical designer. So what I'm going to do during this particular session is open up a job description of what is required of a technical designer if you're going to work in the field. So this is really key for everyone to understand what goes into this job. And so what better way to do that than opening up a job description? So I've gone to LinkedIn, where I have a former colleague who has a job opening. It's not the person who's shown here, just so you guys know. But I will, looking forward to sharing this with you because it is an active 1 week old application. By the time you see this video, you may or may not, it may or may not be 1 week old, but this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. What does it take to work in our industry? So this is for the company Maurice's. So if you're familiar with Maurice's, they have stores all over the country. They have apparently 935 stores across North America. And so that's a lot of stores. That's a lot of stores throughout the country and beyond. And so this particular job is for the role as technical designer. They are considering this job as entry level and that the industry is information technology and services. So if you're with us for the last session, we introduced you to the Gerber technology platform for unique PLM for product lifecycle management software. So these technical jobs are in technology. Technology is a part of technical design. But it's also apparel and fashion and understanding retail. So understanding how what you do affects the cost and the aesthetics and how it translates to technology. So this job is multifaceted, but if you're multifaceted, you probably really enjoy something like this. You don't have a lot of days that are the same and you get a chance to learn and grow in a lot of different directions. So this is a really exciting kind of career because you get a lot of different options in how you grow depending on the kind of company you work for. So this job is for a women's apparel retailer. They work on a variety of different styles, which means that you'll do a lot of different kind of product categories, and they focus on sizing from 0 to 24. So they're very inclusive. And so if that's really important to you to work with an inclusive brand, you'll really enjoy working with a brand like Maurice's. The performance requirements. These are the things that the job is going to require that you do as a part of your role as a technical designer. You will lead fit sessions. You will analyze the fit. You will accurately communicate corrections if there's something that needs to be done differently. You will manage and monitor all the styles from order placement through pre-production. So this is kind of where you will follow the sample request that's made from the prototype. We did those critical points of measure and, help the designer translate their ideas into something that the factory can understand. And then you will follow that sample, follow that the style conversation with the factory until it gets all the way to a pre-production sample. So if you remember, I shared with you a few weeks ago that your job is to help interpret the designer's work to the factory and communicate with the factory until you get to a sample that can go into production. So that's exactly what they're asking for here. Then you are going to establish and monitor and maintain the fit, the sizing, which is the grading, the construction details, and the workmanship standards for your product category, and ensure that there's consistency across all the vendor and factory bases. So this looks like each technical designer gets a particular category to focus on. So instead of you having to work on shirts and dresses and pants and jackets, A lot of companies of this size will say, you work on dresses, all dresses, and you clarify and refine and keep track of everything that has to do with dresses, instead of you having to kind of understand and know all the grading for every single product, for every single style throughout the entire company. That's a lot for one individual to take care of in a full-time job, especially a company of this size. The next thing that they're asking you to do is to provide technical expertise and support to cross-functional teams on fit development and pre-production activities. So that sounds fancy, but what that means is that what you're doing is you are talking to designers, you're talking to the factory, you're talking to production partners, and you are helping them understand how the product is able to actually get made. So the designer is going to be curious about, that pocket is really important to me and I wanted it this size, but the size of the garment is only this width. What can we do to make it look like that? And so you may come up with some solutions that help the designer get the style and the feeling that they're going for. Then your, say the factory has some questions about the dimensions because they may be a bit different than what they're used to, because your solution may have been new or innovative. And so you clarify those conversations with them. Then whenever the sample comes back, the factory tells your buyer, how much is this going to cost to be able to make this? And how many are you planning to make? The buyer may say, hey, it's too expensive. We need to shave off some cost. And so as the technical designer, you know exactly where all of the fabric utilization is happening on the garment. If it's in, is there room in the body circumference to reduce it slightly? Is there room in the length of the body to be able to change that? There are a lot of different ways that we can kind of help save costs. But it's also the job of the technical designer to say when enough is enough, because their job is to say, if you change it anymore, it won't look like the style that you want to purchase. And so they are really the technical mind that understands what those shifts may mean. So they will provide technical expertise to support those cross-functional teams on the fit of the garment so that the garment looks right, it looks good across all of those sizes that they provide, and also communicating with all of those partners. So then they are going to create and update and utilize blocks and patterns to make sure that all the standards are met. So basically, you're just making sure that the product looks really consistent. Have you ever gone to a particular brand and you've tried on one style and you wear a size small, and then you go to another style and you wear a size large? I've been so confused. I was like, I have no idea what size I wear at this store. And so I have to go in every time to figure out which one is my size today because the sizing is completely inconsistent across the board. So the technical designer's role is to make sure that there's some standards across the product so that it doesn't look like there's 10 different designers in the store at the same time if there's only one label. So, so it's really important that the technical designer helps make sure that the standards are kept across all of the various categories. Then the last thing is going to be about helping to, this one's kind of fun, is competitively shop the market, researching the size and fit, construction techniques, and labeling. So this is really where the technical designer kind of wears the hat of buyer and designer at the same time, because they're getting a chance to take a look at what are some of those things that are happening and trending now in terms of where labels are getting placed and what's happening in terms of the sizing. Is it growing? Is it shrinking? What kinds of fits are happening? Is it more of these like loose jogger styles? We've been seeing a lot of these sweatshirts with a lot of shoulder pads. What happens in the roominess of the style? So all of these things are things that a technical designer will want to be aware of, and how to translate that into a wearable style and fit that fits the brand. And so these are things that are a part of the experience and requirement of a technical designer. So I'm not going to read to you, but if you're curious, you can Google Maurice's technical designer. They are hiring. It has a lot of details bachelor's degree or equivalent business experience in related area. So you don't necessarily have to have a fashion degree, but you do need to have competencies in these areas in order to do this job. So that's a good note, meaning that if you are looking to change careers, or if you have some of these skills and need to learn how to do more of these skills, taking the workforce technical design course this summer could really be great for you. So if you have more questions, if you want to share this with a friend, send an email to fashion.incubator@austincc.edu. Ask us about the workforce technical design course that's starting this summer. And we look forward to getting a chance to talk with you more about what that is, and what you'll gain from that course. We see this as a huge opportunity to help more Central Texans and beyond get more meaningful work. And so jobs like this pay well, they give you great benefits. And we really see that there are people who have some of these skills, but need the other part of those skills to be able to go into these roles. So we hope that these talks, this is our last one of the series for technical design. We hope that these talks have been beneficial to you. And if you feel like it's been beneficial to you, we invite you to share this content with a friend or a colleague that you think would be interested in the workforce technical design course. So again, my name is Nina Means, Director for Austin Community College Fashion Incubator, and you've been watching Workshop Wednesdays.